clear view? We good? Camera guy? Thank you. Thank you. All right, so we're about to start with the Web3 Hackathon 2.0. Everybody excited? Yeah. Okay. Now we will be introducing what type of event, how everything will go down. And with that, I'll leave it with Shirley. She's going to be sharing with you all the details. Okay, there we go.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shirley. It is for me an absolute privilege to be here in front of all of you to do the proper introduction to this hackathon. So before starting, I would like to give, of course, a very special thanks to the entirety of the organizing team, Volvi Space, Christian and Edgar, also the IEEE blockchain represented by Ramesh. Where's Ramesh? Ramesh. Wait, Ramesh. Hi, there you go. Crypto Curious and the Opportunity Initiative, whom, because today, I didn't know, it's a federal holiday, therefore, I will be doing the introduction to what their participation or what our partnership with them looks like. And of course, thank you so much to our sponsors. We're being sponsored by the Puerto Rico Blockchain Trade Association, DLDX, Casper Labs, DJEC, el Departamento de Desarrollo Económico y Comercio, el Centro para Emprendedores, and Waterfall. So thank you so much for your contributions. Without them, this event would not be possible. And, prices. So, okay. We want to see Puerto Rico thrive as a hub for Web3 projects and blockchain technology. Right. That's everyone in this room wants that. Otherwise, of course, we won't be here. So the challenge that we have in Puerto Rico, which I'm probably preaching to the choir, but regardless, is that as we know, Puerto Rico has been in a state of crisis since 2017, when Hurricane Maria hit. That being said, Puerto Rico's crisis has been going on since much earlier than that. Maria just made everything kind of like visible to the world. It made us Puerto Ricans, have to really make eye contact with the reality that our island is in big trouble, and we definitely need to do something about it. Now, with Fiona, just a few months ago, it came to the surface that a lot of the challenges that we had back in 2017 are challenges that we still have today. Some of them, as everyone knows here, are energy, food security, and education, the workforce development. So, enter Hackathon. We're gonna be looking for solutions. So, the hackathon, the Web3 Hackathon 2.0, Blockchain Solutions para Puerto Rico, the Spanish title is on purpose, by the way. So, in general, this Web3 hackathon is aimed at, of course, accelerating the mass adoption of blockchain technologies here in Puerto Rico. We want more people involved in blockchain, learning how to code, learning what it takes to navigate Web3. We also want to showcase local talent. We have extremely talented artists, programmers, designers on the island, and we really want them to participate. And we also, of course, want to promote workforce development on the island and industry innovation. So we want to create these type of spaces, right, where we can explore blockchain technology as a precursor of the possible solutions for some of the biggest challenges that we have on the island. We also want to give the projects that come out of the next 3 weeks of hacking to have the biggest possible chance, or at least the biggest possible chance that we can give them to be successful. and go from having that MVP that you create throughout the hackathon to actually, at the end of these 3 weeks, maybe start having something that is, good enough to work on it a little bit more, or maybe just good enough to be presented directly to investors, and try to make that project something that you can pursue further. That's where the partnership with the Opportunity Project comes in. The Opportunity Project is an innovation program by the U.S. Census Bureau. So the federal government is involved in this. They bring together technologists, government officials, and communities to rapidly prototype software solutions. And to date, they've had thousands of individuals, they have 35 federal agencies on this, and the organizations, as it says right there, the organizations have participated on top, leading to nearly 175 open data tools, including apps, websites, mapping tools, data visualization, games, and more. So this program is focused in bringing community talent, the best technologists that we can find, and then connecting them with federal agencies and experts who will be able to give the subject matter expertise, so that the project that you're creating is, can have as much impact as possible. And this, of course, this partnership allows the hackathon itself to have access to the government data sets, which is amazing. We're actually going to be able to have access to this federal data sets. The matter of subject experts can also provide insights and perspectives that you wouldn't have otherwise. They will also be giving us support. Next week, we'll have webinars directly with them, so that you can not just get to know them, but also really understand how to use the federal data and apply it to one of these projects. And of course, visibility, since the hackathon projects, or the best hackathon projects, will be showcased at Talk Summit in February. So, by the way, the top projects that come out of the hackathon will be featured at the Middle Here conference on December 5th, where we're gonna have essentially a big room full of, a lot of crypto people, but also a lot of potential investors who might be interested in the project. And on top of that, the project will also be showcased at the Top Summit in February. So the reason why we wanted to use and partner with Top, and I will reveal the challenges just in a bit, there's 3 of them. But I think this is really important, because this really aligns with what we want to do. I know that this aligns with what the Web3 space is trying to do, what we, the PRBTA and Crypto Curious are trying to do, and essentially people who are currently really pushing for Web3 adoption in the island. We want to empower participants, you guys, but not just you guys, but other people that you talk to, and other people who might be interested in Web3, to use Web3 technology, which is a lot more accessible than you would think, to find solutions for real challenges faced by our communities. We want to, you guys, participants, to become agents of local change by showing how accessible building meaningful applications for Web3 are, and also, adopt a lifelong learning sort of mindset, which is incredibly important. I started studying medicine, like veterinary medicine, and now here I am talking about cryptocurrency. And there was some literature in the way, and video game design, so you should just keep learning all the things at all times. We also want to demonstrate, to local stakeholders and the general public that Web3 and blockchain technology is legitimate. There's all these rumors out there how blockchain technology or cryptocurrencies are a scam, but the technology is sound. The technology is legit. It works. So it is I believe, the foundation for our future. Puerto Rico has the right talent to conduct Web3 and blockchain-focused research and development. Having research and development doctors on many things, like playing with technology to invent new things. And of course, make the case for blockchain technology being transparent and secure option to be applied to governmental data management and public goods management. And so, again, the top challenges. So the Opportunity Project aims to solve local problems facing individuals and communities. The first step is identify a problem, right, which is what teams will work on to solve with data technology, data and technology solutions, excuse me. As part of the Web3 Hackathon 2.0, we have tweaked 3 of the original top problem statements. You can find all of those online in order to encourage participants to co-create a solution that really improves our lives locally. So the challenges are, they're right here, but I'm gonna go one by one. First challenge is blockchain-based solutions for Puerto Rico's data, specifically with a specific focus in climate change. Maybe this, out of all the challenges, this is probably the most technical one. But in this case, teams must create a data-driven, blockchain-based solution to help governmental agencies and members of the public visualize both the risks of climate change to their communities and the impacts of implementing mitigation and adaptation strategies. The end users are right here: emergency managers and elected officials, as well as city planners, transportation officers, public health, etc., etc. These, you know, if you will find that any of these challenges is interesting, but maybe you think if I tweaked it a little bit, maybe you can definitely talk to us and see what we can do, just in case. So the challenge number 2, helping communities assess infrastructure grant funding. Getting grants from the federal government or from any government is really hard. It's a long process with a lot of paperwork, with a lot of verifying things. So a possible interesting solution for that would be to use blockchain technology to manage all of that data, so that the end user, which in this case could be, you know, a university or a nonprofit or a community leader, they will be able to help directly other people to navigate this in an easier way. So in this case, the challenge is to create a blockchain-based digital tool that uses open data to help nonprofits, community leaders, and our government agencies navigate potential grant opportunities, enabled by the bipartisan infrastructure law and other major initiatives to optimize the use of their limited staff resources and enable them to better plan for upcoming opportunities. And in this case, end user over resource local governments, seeking competitive federal grant funding, etc., etc. And the last challenge, which is, yes, so I have a question.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I want to bring something up as far as grant instead of going to government funding. I am actually in a community called Metacartel, and they are connected to another DAO that is called Nouns, and they have I think 400 million worth of funding for grants, and it's basically targeted towards helping things like this, what you're saying, helping people grow. And oh my god, I'm in the yeah, so basically right now, Metacartel is an ecosystem that grants a whole bunch of DAOs, and I'm working with a creative DAO right now. It's called Creative Platform, and we're working on a grant through Nouns, which is going to help basically artists get iPads and then distribute it to younger children that can get into blockchain and stuff like that. So I can actually provide you with information with these DAOs. That way you don't have, I mean, you can still go through government stuff, but there's already communities that they have plenty of funds that are dedicated to grants to helping people. So I just wanted to bring that up. So.
Thank you so much for that, and I would actually love that information, of course.
Yeah, and so I got on nervous, I got off the mic, but I just wanted to say that because I know with the government ones, it's too hard, it's too much, so.
Fair enough. I guess that's why it's a challenge. Okay, so the last challenge, and my personal favorite, if I might add, is solutions for learning and well-being. Teams must create a blockchain-based application designed specifically for Puerto Rican children and youth that promotes resilience and communal well-being. In comparison, being an educator myself, this is really my favorite one, but I'm, again, clearly biased. Those are the 3 challenges that we have, and these are essentially the type of projects that you can create to tackle the challenges. So you can use NFTs, you can use DeFi, you can use DAOs, and you can go for making a game. Yes, Pedro.
Does my project have to include blockchain?
I mean, yes, the project needs to be blockchain-based somehow. We do recognize that for video games, for example, might be a little bit too complicated. So we can definitely, talk about it. But the important thing is to have that prototype at the end of the day, where we can at least know that it works, right? So maybe at the end of the 3 weeks, ideally you will have something on the blockchain, but if what you create is not on the blockchain, but by working a little bit more on it, we can then put it on the blockchain, then what matters is that it works, that it's functional. That is the most important part. It doesn't have, if it looks pretty, you get extra points. You get like the awesome user interface. But at the end of the day, that's like, it needs to work. It doesn't have to look pretty necessarily, but it needs to work. And that is it for this part. Cristian and Edgar, you guys want to add something?
If you have questions, you can ask us tomorrow. The goal of tomorrow is to clarify all the doubts and the goal of tomorrow we're gonna be here the whole day, and the main objective is that you get out of here with a pretty clear idea of what your solution is gonna be. So we're gonna be here tomorrow for you to help you create that idea, and then you will have 3 weeks to start doing it for yourself.
Also, the details about, were we talking about the groups, details about the group forming now, or are we talking about?
Yeah, participants should be on top of our Discord. We'll be sharing all the information, instructions, team formations. Each team will be assigned a channel and rotating mentors with that specific one assigned. So you guys always have somebody to turn to. Schedules will be also recorded, so be on the Discord. We'll be sharing the link shortly.
Everyone here's on the Discord.
I was about to ask that. Is anyone not on the Discord? Raise your hand. Okay, cool. So we're gonna get the link. We're gonna put it up there. Do we have the QR code by any chance? Of the Discord? We'll get it to you soon. All right. So thank you so much, Shirley. Round of applause for her. All right, so any other questions about the challenges? You guys saw it a little bit, but maybe we can discuss it a little bit further. Go ahead.
About the opportunity project, do they have a way to access the data like an API or something that we have to use for the project?
So yes, they have an API. I want to encourage that you do use their data. That's going to get you the most amount of points. So try to use the technology, try to apply it to your project, whether it's a game, an NFT project DAO, those tracks are gonna be in the dev post. So now, next question, is everyone on the dev post? No? Okay, so we're gonna be posting that on the Discord as well. Basically, dev post is for you to, see all the challenges, the judges, the rules, and ultimately submit your project. So very, really important that you get on top of that. Awesome. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about tips for you. So this is one of the first hackathons that we do that's multiple weeks. Usually we're really hardcore. Usually we stay all weekend. We get a lot of pizza, Red Bull, coffee. But this time, you're going to have a few weeks. You can still do that every single weekend. There's like 3 back-to-back hackathon weekends, but we want to give you the ability to go home, sleep, rest, and have a little bit more time. We recognize that Web3 applications are a little bit more complicated, right? So earlier I asked Shirley, does this have to include blockchain? And I want to encourage, yes, try to include blockchain, try to include the data. If you get stuck, it doesn't matter, okay? Because it's ultimately, this is just a challenge. It's going to help us accelerate your learning. Okay, so let me just connect my computer over here. I want to first also get to know you. All right, so everyone take out your phone, saquen los celulares, and scan this code. All right, so go ahead and scan this code. All right, everyone have it? Scan the QR code. I'm gonna leave it up for 10 more seconds, and it's gonna get a little bit smaller. All right, so let's get started. So I want to get to know you. Where are you from? ¿De dónde son? Son de Puerto Rico. Are you from Puerto Rico? Are you from outside? Where are you from? So I'm from Puerto Rico. I was born in San Juan, grew up in Rio Grande. How about you? So we have Calle, Ponce. What cities in Puerto Rico? ¿Qué municipios? Bayamón. New York, California, Dorado. Hamilton, New York, awesome. Los Ángeles, Arecibo, wow. Madrid, Canóvanas. Yo creo que Bayamón está ganando. Look at that, Bayamón is winning out of all the cities in Puerto Rico. Camuy, Nicaragua. Wow. Utopia, yeah. Someone's from the metaverse. Wow. Yeah. We got digital participation. Awesome. Unos cuantos de Miami, Ukraine, Corn Country, Guaynabo, Utuado. Awesome. Wow, qué bueno verlos todos aquí. Yeah. Super. Okay. So, próxima pregunta. Next question. So, do you have experience programming in Solidity? If you don't know what Solidity is, well, that's enough. Solidity is the main programming language for Ethereum, for EVM compatible blockchains. So Polygon, Avalanche. So let's see, who has programming experience in Solidity? So there's a few people in here that came from the bootcamp. Raise your hand if you came from the bootcamp this summer. Yeah.
The OGs.
OGs. So this is our second hackathon this year. We're really excited. During the summer we had a bootcamp where we actually taught how to create smart contracts and fees, ERC20s, etc. And hopefully during this next couple of weeks, you can learn. We're going to be sharing resources if you want to learn how to create your own NFT. Trust me, you can do it in 5 minutes. We've done it before. I usually get 3. So you're going to create your own tokens, whether they're non-fungible or fungible. And yeah, we can really integrate them with the front end. So we want you to create a full stack application. However, if you don't have that much experience programming, no worries. You can also use no-code tools, okay, to create part of your project. Próxima pregunta. Is this your first hackathon? Let's see. So I have participated in, I think, 12 hackathons. This is, I think, the 12th or 13th hackathon. So we got a bunch of yeses, no, aye, captain. Come on, nopes. This is the second one, that's awesome. So one of the reasons why I love hackathons is because you get to learn quickly in a really great environment. You get access to mentors. And for me, it's like a challenge. I always come to hackathons with the goal of trying to apply a new technology. So I participated in AI hackathons, in VR and AR hackathons, and the whole goal, right, is to try to solve problems using that tech. So for me, it's a lot of fun. Plus the social aspect, many times we don't have an opportunity to get to know each other. So please, socialize. And if you're looking to hire programmers too, because I know there's a few out there, network. Here we're going to be programming, we're going to be training the best. So let's go ahead and get started with some hackathon tips. Thank you so much for participating in our icebreaker. Now let's get moving on. So, like I was mentioning, this is one of the first times we do a multi-week hackathon. So that means that your time management is going to be very important. So during the weekend, during the next, hold on. Let's see here. All right, can you see that all right? Yes. Okay, super. So you're gonna have about 3 weeks, and it's really important that you plan out what you're going to do every single week, and I would even say every single day. If you want to take this hackathon seriously to the next level, you want to, try to qualify for prizes, I really encourage you to take this time seriously, especially during the weekend, when I know you have a little bit more time, right? Many of you. So before you begin, when I say here customers, think that as end users. Who is going to use your software? Many times, blockchain and technologies, it's a solution looking for a problem. Eso pasa mucho. We have something that works great, but we try to apply it in a different area, and it doesn't work out. So think of really more about the problems. What problem are you going to be solving? Form a team. So who here already has a team? Raise your hand. Okay, we got a few. Who does not have a team? Who needs a team? Okay, cool. So we're going to have time now after this talk, so then we can get to know each other. We're also going to be posting in Discord instructions on how you can get your team to get into DevBooks. So form a team, assign clear roles. So ideally, you have someone on your team who's a developer. If you don't have a developer, that's okay. I want to encourage you to try to look for someone who can help you with programming. But if not, that's okay. We can recommend no-code tools, okay? But I recommend having at least a programmer and someone who can focus on the design, right? The design, whether that's the UI, UX, the presentation, the graphics, stuff like that. And if you don't fit in those buckets, then you would be like a subject matter expert. So try to identify who exactly do you need. If you're going to be creating an application that requires data, right? That federal data, maybe you want a data analyst maybe to create those graphs. So take that into consideration. Depending on what you need, you can look for a team member. We'll be posting here, if you need someone, we'll do that later. So make sure you have, a full team, front end, back end, UI, UX. subject matter experts, and then setting the expectations for the day. What exactly are you going to do? Today, I recommend just brainstorm, just form the team, get to know each other. Tomorrow, we're gonna have a full day here. Christian, what time are you gonna be here?
Hopefully 9 or 10.
Yeah, so from 9 to like 4, 5, we're going to have mentors here at Engine 4 who can help. Aprovechen ese tiempo. We're gonna have other activities. I don't know the schedule by memory, but we're gonna have other activities during the week where you can ask questions, and if you get stuck with your programming, you can, have a mentor help you. So I recommend try to set a schedule for each day of the next couple 3 weeks. So, like I mentioned, set expectations. What time are you going to work? If it's going to be the weekends after 6 p.m., set that time expectations. Set the milestones. I recommend first focusing on what is the problem, then going into architecture. Okay, what are the technologies we're going to use? What is the programming language, etc. Then going to prototype. You want to create something quickly. You don't have a lot of time here, so it doesn't have to be pretty, but make sure that you can get something working. Okay, so consider continuity. Think about after the hackathon. We're trying to get more grants. In Puerto Rico, we have a lot of great talent. And after each hackathon, it's kind of sad sometimes that many of the projects don't really have the funding, and sometimes the team doesn't have the commitment to continue on the project to leave a lasting impact. So think about that. How can we make sure that this project that we're creating in this hackathon has a future? Any questions so far? All right, so continuing. If you have an opportunity, interview your users, your customers, who is going to use your project, ask them. And for example, if I have a project that's fundraising on the blockchain, and it is specifically for people who work in the nonprofit sector, well, I can go to maybe 2 people that I know and ask them questions. Do you, use the blockchain? What do you think about cryptocurrencies? Can you keep them safe? Like, there's a lot of questions that you can ask that can determine what is the right solution for that person. So think about that. Validate the assumptions. That is part of the interview process. And then the final pitch. You want to make sure that you start the demo or that pitch deck. You don't have to start it this week, but at least that last week, you should have someone working on it. Okay? So don't leave it until the day before. You want to practice. One of the last days of this hackathon, we're going to have a practice session. And you can give your pitch and you can get feedback. That's going to make your project, your presentation a lot stronger. So practice, take some time to make a good presentation. You're not going to have a lot of time. I'm not sure if it's 5 or 10 minutes, but we'll make sure that you have that info. Okay? But make sure to put in some time to make the presentation. And inside of the presentation, also have a good demo. We'll get to that. Yeah. And then collaborate and communicate. Many times the questions that you might have, someone on the other side might also have. So don't feel worried about people seeing your questions or looking dumb. There are no dumb questions. Just ask them in the Discord or ask them here out loud. We're really trying to help you accelerate and help you really finish on time, and that you are happy with your solutions. All right, so during the hackathon, choosing your battles. For me, this is one of the most difficult things. Like I mentioned, I have participated in a few hackathons, and I've had the opportunity to win a few hackathons as well. And for me, the biggest thing is there's a moment. It's usually like around 2 a.m. Like I'm talking about the hackathons that I participated, they're overnight hackathons. Like around 2 a.m., there's no coffee in the coffee machine, there's no Red Bull, half of the people are on the floor sleeping. It's a very intense moment. So in that moment, you need to choose your battles. You need to say like, oh, is this Python script really gonna work? Do I have to really automate this completely now, right? So remember in those times that you might just have to, you know what, I'm gonna skip this. I'm just not gonna focus on that. And it's really helpful if you go to one of the mentors and you ask, what is the most important thing that I should be showing? So we can help unblock you. But por favor, choose your battles. Don't think you're gonna be able to do everything, even though you had 3 weeks. Done. And so ask for help, prototype, and optimize for speed and delivery. So one of my hacks, biggest hacks that I can give you is don't focus so much on using Node.js Express unless you really know what you're doing. You can use no-code tools. Do you guys know what no-code tools are? No? Okay. A no-code tool is something like Zapier. Have you heard of Zapier? Okay, so Zapier, look it up. I'll bring it up over here, it's really nice. So the cool thing about Zapier, it's a no-code solution. That means that I don't have to program to make it work. Let's just say I want to have a database, and I don't know how to use databases. Well, with Zapier, I can program using Google Sheets as a database, and I can connect that to maybe a front-end application. So Zapier, it's not really loading now, but there you go. You can check here, you know, all the different solutions. They can help automate things. So this is what I mean with about no-code solutions. You can use them, especially if you don't have a lot of experience. So Zapier, Airtable, Google Forms, Typeform, Wix. There was one time participants in, I think 2 hackathons ago, who won an award, and they did a website with Squarespace, with Wix. You know, but their idea, their pitch, and everything they put into the project, that really resonated with the judges. So don't think, once again, do not get discouraged if halfway through you don't have anything, or it's too difficult. You can use no-code tools, okay? Quiero ser bien enfático con eso. All right, so a few other things, focus on people's needs. Not trying to fit in a solution, and try to focus on the problem and what do people need. Stay focused on the mission. Remember, we have a theme, the opportunity projects, those challenges. Make sure you read them and understand them, and that your project is according or aligned to the theme. And if you have questions, Shirley will gladly help you with that. Think about uniqueness. So, blockchain Kickstarter, even though that could be a project, right? So if you have an idea, it's okay, but Kickstarters are very new. If you're gonna do like a Kickstarter Web3 application, what is the difference? Think about that. How are you different from other applications that might be common? And you don't have to think about scaling, how is this going to scale, but I do recommend that you think about that towards the end. After you finish and you have a solid prototype, the judges will often ask you, after you give your presentation, what do you think is the future for this? So just keep a mental note. It's not really that important, but it is recommended that you think, how can this idea scale, and what does it take to take it to the next level? Take risks, be bold, be courageous, be your best. You know, you can bring crazy ideas, we love them. But also be realistic that you don't have a lot of time. And most importantly, enjoy. Enjoy this process. And then my final tips before and during the demo. So this is after you have completed your prototype, and this should be in the final week. You should be preparing for your presentation. We're going to have an opportunity here to practice, like I mentioned. So make sure that you have a good demo. The demo is what's going to sell your project. So have a really good, compelling demo. If your demo doesn't work, because that has happened to me, it's the worst thing. The demo bots sometimes do not bless us, right, with the code. So in that case, have a video. Once you have it working, in that moment, take a video of your project, so then you can have something to share, just in case at the last moment something goes wrong. Because I know it can happen. It's really frustrating. And train a few times. Again, we're going to have an opportunity to do this. And practice tough questions. Many times, the judges will ask things that are important about and are really aligned with the values of Web3. What am I talking about? I'm talking about decentralization. Your protocol might need to be decentralized eventually. So judges might think about that. How are you going to decentralize your protocol or your project? If you're going to have a token, think about those tough questions on how are you protecting yourself against hackers. So we'll go through questions like this later during the hackathon, so then you can get in that mindset. And most importantly, manage your time. Make sure within the next couple of weeks you plan out what you're going to do, that you set milestones and your own deadlines. And also when you're going to practice your presentation, that you are within the time period. I think we're going to have 5 to 8 minutes. We'll confirm those details later. So, how are you feeling? Estamos listos? You guys ready? We're going to start hacking now? All right, the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Hackathon has officially started. Woo! I'm missing my sound effects, guys. I need my sound effects. We'll try to get them for next time. All right, so that's all I have for hackathon tips. Christian, Edgar, do we have anything else? Any additional speakers?
Will be arriving in 2 minutes.
All right, so food. One of the best things about hackathons is the free food. All right, so we're going to be having pizza. We're going to be arriving in 10 minutes. We do have time now to answer questions. So, do we want to review the challenges once again? Yeah? Okay, let's put them on here. I'll put a little bit of music, and then we can just answer any questions. If you're looking for team members, we can also do that now. Right? Oh, yeah. So, let's put up the challenges. Alright, so we're going to talk about the challenges. Alright, so let's talk about the challenges. Challenge number 1 is blockchain based. So challenge number 1, blockchain based solutions. Alright, technical difficulties, 1 second. Sorry guys, we're back now. So, blockchain-based solutions for Puerto Rico, climate change. The whole goal here is to use a climate change data inside of your application. What kind of ideas can we have with this? For example, imagine if we are working on a platform that checks the climate change effects in a certain population. This is like Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico, unfortunately, our beaches, we're losing them. Estamos perdiendo nuestra playa. How can we use technology to be able to track that better? How can that be applied in insurance? Right? Imagine people who are buying properties near the ocean. Puerto Rico, you know, when the sea level is rising, that might be a risky idea. So imagine a solution that can be used in the insurance world. But yeah, that's just one idea. All right. Questions about this challenge, climate change?
I'll say you.
Who wants to participate in this challenge? Raise your hand. Alright. Yeah, go ahead.
Hey guys, glad to see you here again. I'm Robert, waterfall team. Good to see you all here again. Last hackathon was pretty amazing. Good job, by the way. Like, shout out here to this young man who did some amazing stuff. So, it was a really good hackathon. I think this one's going to be possibly even better, maybe more interesting. So you just mentioned solutions to climate change. That's interesting thing. So I've done a bit of climate modeling. We use a thing called HAZs from the government. You can model a hurricane as it comes in. You can look at all the damage that it does to buildings. So there's 1.3 million buildings in Puerto Rico. When we run HAZs, it runs 58,000 curves on every single building to see how much damage there is. You get an index on that damage, and then from that you can run scalability and probability of what it looks like. That's an amazing thing to put on the blockchain. You know, so hopefully these guys are done.
Thank you guys.
So we put all of that stuff in a blockchain. You can look at it. It's immutable. It has a really interesting impact to the insurance industry. Prior to now, 12 years ago, we looked at a data set and tried to do this for Lloyd's of London. It was just too much data. We didn't have the tools to work through all the problems. We have the data now, so that's possible. So it is possible to put on a blockchain. When you think about the terms of going to OpenStreetMap, downloading all the buildings, looking at that as each individual piece, looking at those models and what that looks like, we have some data we can probably share with you. If you find that's interesting to you, is something you want to follow up on and look at. There's definitely a blockchain solution that has some impact there, some other kinds of things. Okay, so in Puerto Rico participates in 60% of the total federal funds that they are available to them. So that means 40% of the federal funds that Puerto Rico can access for early childhood nutrition and other kinds of things they don't have access to. Two major problems. One is that English is a second language. Puerto Ricans are at a disadvantage in writing federal grants. So that's one problem. Another problem is understanding where the problems are. There's data sets that are available that show disability throughout Puerto Rico. There's 78 municipalities, 902 barrios, and 14,000 sectors. So you can bring it down to a level where you can understand where the problems are in Puerto Rico. You can visualize that. That's interesting. Then trying to understand which grants can apply to which places in Puerto Rico. There's interesting data sets you can find and integrate into that solution set. It's really important that Puerto Rico reach out to the 40% of the things that they're missing in this space. Grant funding is available. It's federal dollars. It's readily available, and Puerto Rico doesn't participate in about 40% of what's available to them. Figuring out how that works better and how people can access that is incredibly important. It's literally millions, if not billions, of dollars that are available, and finding a way to help your community and help Puerto Rico is incredibly important. That's a challenge that's certainly worth looking at.
Before you go on, anyone want to participate in challenge number 2? that challenge. And it's okay if you're still thinking, it's okay.
Yeah, if anybody wants to talk about the challenges or how you might be able to participate or how it might work with, let me know. We'd be happy to talk to you and provide some mentorship and look at how we can help you guys succeed in this challenge. It's fun, it's interesting, and the whole thing is, it's a lot of work. I mean, it really stoked to see so many people here willing to step up and try to do this. I think you'll all succeed at some level. You're certainly going to learn something. I usually do. The third one is learning and well-being. Yep, so resilience in Puerto Rico is very important. Yeah, so been working on that for a little while. Puerto Rico has, the electric grid in Puerto Rico, you have 871,000 power poles that hold up all the electricity in Puerto Rico. There's 1,760 substations. Like I said, there was 3.1 million structures in Puerto Rico. Looking at that overall infrastructure and seeing where the outliers are and people that are most affected by storms and things like that and what that looks like, looking at a bifurcation of that, putting that into a blockchain so that it's known, it's understood, and it's open and immutable. It's a really interesting project. Anything that you guys do in any one of these three challenges has a serious, deep impact and positive impact to Puerto Rico. So anything that you're picking up to do in this challenge, I'll be around, more than happy to help, more than happy to share knowledge that I have and things that I've worked on. I'm really glad that you guys are here. I'm really proud of the things that you guys have picked to for challenges, and good to see y'all guys. Good to see you again.
Thank you.